Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome. This is 7.3, Elections and Campaigns. Let's get started. So, if you follow along with me at home, you'll notice that there are two types of elections. The first one is general elections. This is probably the most popular one. We get into presidential elections here. The entire nation votes for this. Yes, we have a question in the back.
We do not have unlimited attempts on the exit ticket.
Why not?
I don't know. I got it wrong.
Oh. All right, so there's a two-part process. So we have primary races. They narrow the field of candidates, and that usually happens in the particular party, so Democratic or Republican. We could call it two different things here. Caucuses, so some states just call, they choose to call it a caucus. And then a direct primary, which would be open or closed. If it's open, what happens is anybody can go in and vote for their particular candidate that they want to represent that particular party. You don't have to be affiliated with the party to vote. Closed, you do have to be affiliated with the party to vote. So if there was a Republican primary in North Carolina and I was a registered Democrat, could I vote for this?
No.
No, if it's closed.
Word.
Yes, if it's open. So, general elections. Voters choose candidates for various offices. So the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November is usually whenever the general election happens. It's actually always when it happens. All registered voters, all races are decided by a simple majority of the popular vote, except for the president, because we use this thing called the what college?
Electoral.
Yes,
Let's
the
say,
electoral college.
You're registered on what? Like, as a registered whatever, and you don't want to vote for that candidate, can you vote for the other one? Like, the other party?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you could just be listed as a Republican and vote for a Democrat all day long.
Why would you do that though?
Because you don't believe in that particular candidate.
Well, what if you why don't you just change your, wait, can you never change your,
You
like,
can change it. You can.
But if you just don't like me.
you're not allowed to tell us what you are you?
I'm unregistered.
You are?
I mean, I'm registered to vote, but I'm unaffiliated is what I meant to say. I'm marked as unaffiliated. Because if you know anything about me and what I've said in this class is that I'm done with the two-party system.
Oh yeah, I've heard you say that before.
Wait, so what do you want?
I want more choices.
Oh yeah, you're
I want younger choices. I want more choices. I want people that represent
What do
me
you believe in?
a little bit. No, not what I believe in. What's best for the country.
Yeah, I'm pro-American. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so types of elections, voting on issues, so state or local level, we have this thing called an initiative. So this is a process where citizens can propose new laws or state constitutional amendments, and then that could possibly get on the ballot. That's called a proposition. So the proposed law. If there are enough registered voters that sign a petition, the proposed law can be put on the ballot. You might have heard of these things before, like Prop 16 or Prop 18 or whatever it is. That is a proposition to do something within the state. A lot of these things, a lot of these props have been to legalize marijuana. So a couple years back in Ohio, they had two propositions. One was to legalize marijuana, and then the other proposition was to give the ability to farm and sell marijuana to about 10 different individuals in the state. They voted in this time, I can't remember when it was, it might have been like 2017. So they voted in 2017 to legalize marijuana, but not to allow only 10 people to make money off of it, or 10 companies. So the proposition that was there to legalize marijuana didn't go through because the other proposition didn't go through, because that was the only way that they were going to be able to legalize it at that time. which is pretty smart by Ohioans, right? Because okay, say they do want cannabis legal, but they also want to have the opportunity to make money off of it, because there was only a select few that were going to be able to do that, so they voted no on one, even though they really wanted the other one.
Make weed legal.
So, I guess one of the most recent propositions that was voted on would be in New York. They voted to legalize marijuana.
Oh,
All right, referendum. So a way for citizens to vote to approve or reject a law passed or proposed by a state legislature. So some examples here, which I actually voted for: North Carolina lottery, the North Carolina educational lottery, voted for that, and then line item veto for governor. So in North Carolina, we actually didn't. The governor didn't have the power to veto anything at one point, but then it went on the ballot. We voted that, okay, we think that he should or she should be able to have that power, and now they do. Runoff election, so when no candidate wins, a majority of votes. So this happens, and this happened recently in Georgia. So they'd have a runoff election after pretty much nobody wins the majority of votes, because several people were running, and then we have a runoff of the top two candidates. Recall election, citizens can vote to remove a public official from the office. It starts with a petition, just like we talked about before. An example here would be Arnold Schwarzenegger. So California governor, recall in 2003. It didn't happen. He was still the governor after that. So types of elections, partisan versus nonpartisan. We have a partisan election. So when you see partisan, it means party, okay? Talking about a political party. And when you see nonpartisan, it means no party. So partisan, party affiliation of the candidate is listed on the ballot. So you would be able to see if I was a Democrat or Republican or a third party candidate. So straight party ticket is when you can just mark a box on your ballot, and it's, you just be like straight party ticket, boom, you vote for every single Republican, every single Democrat, whichever one you are. You can mark straight party ticket, and we'll just vote for all those people. You don't have to go bubble in everybody. Split party ticket is what a lot of people do. So vote for candidates of any party affiliation. And a lot of people do this because a lot of people represent different viewpoints and have different viewpoints. Again, more people are right in the middle, moderate, than far left or far right.
Yeah, don't a lot of,
stupid.
because North Carolina is like half, or we
Spit it out, Carson.
nationally vote Republican historically, and like statewide we vote Democratic for like governors and stuff, right?
Yeah, for governors, yeah, it tends to lead Democratic, and then for like General Assembly, which is our version of the Congress, tends to go Republican. But you think about major cities in North Carolina, and usually major cities are and tend to be left-leaning. And then rural areas tend to be right-leaning.
Because that's like,
And we have a pretty good balance here in North Carolina, though. So,
what is Wilmington?
Wilmington is an urban city that
We lean left,
barely,
yeah,
because we are surrounded.
by rural areas.
Yes, I mean you go 10 miles outside of Wilmington in any direction, and you are farming.
Country.
All right, so nonpartisan election, no party affiliation appears on the ballot. This happens with judges a lot. Presidential election, so nomination of the candidate for each party, caucus or primary election. Then we have a national party. Convention, so sometimes that's it. Like the Republican National Party convention was held where? Not most recently because of COVID, but years before that, Charlotte. Okay, so kick off the campaign and rally party members. Then you have a campaign, so you travel across the country giving speeches, making appearances, and then you have the popular vote. The citizens vote on election day for their president, but if you win the popular vote, does that necessarily mean you are the president of the United States? No. So we have this thing called the Electoral College. So the electoral votes is the number of representatives and the number of senators in each state combined to that number.
Okay, wait, hold on.
So North Carolina has 15.
So the electoral college, though, they're supposed to, like, they get the popular votes, and do they have to listen to the popular votes?
They do listen to the popular
Then
vote.
why did Trump lose? Or why did Hillary lose? Because she had more.
Well, it all comes down to an electoral college thing. So
But since they're
you win California, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's 55 million people.
That's literally, it's always Democrat.
And it's always Democrat. And they get 55 electoral votes. But you also get tons of this popular vote. So in recent years, I mean, it happened to Hillary, it happened to Al Gore in 2000, you can win the popular vote. You can be voted into being the president by the majority of American citizens, but the Electoral College is a system of, it's a point system, and it's first to 270, and each state has these numbers given to them, never being less than 3.
Didn't Ronald Reagan like absolutely destroy the election?
Yes.
Wait, so did Trump just win more, like,
He played the game
so he won more states with, like,
more
bigger electoral college?
like Florida,
And, like, not New York.
Pennsylvania, Ohio, these like swing states.
He got all those, which add up to be more than, like, California.
That's right.
Okay.
So winner-take-all system, so candidate who wins the popular vote in each state gets all the state's electoral votes. You need 270 electoral votes to win, and if nobody gets 270 votes, it goes to the
Popular vote.
House of Representatives.
Oh my goodness gracious, Michael.
All right, so paying for election campaigns, we got some weird things here. So regulated by federal legislation and Supreme Court rules. So we have the Federal Election Campaign Act, FECA. So this is public disclosure of campaign spending, so the public gets to see what the campaign spends money on. They limit the amount of individuals or groups that could donate directly to a candidate or party. That's called hard money. Then you have the Federal Elections Commissions, the FEC, independent agency that administers election laws and monitors campaign spending. And then you have a Supreme Court ruling called Buckley versus Valeo in 1976 that upheld the FECA. And it says candidates could spend as much of their own private money as they wanted. And that is why you see really rich people running for office. Because they have money to spend. They don't have to raise it. Raising money is difficult. So, political parties can raise unlimited amounts of money for general purposes, not designated for a specific candidate. That's called soft money. In 2002, we have a bipartisan campaign reform act, prohibits national political parties, federal office holders and federal candidates from raising soft money, raises limits on hard money contributions. It's upheld in a court case called McConnell versus FEC. And then in 2010, Citizens United versus FEC. Corporations or unions can contribute unlimited amounts of money on political activities as long as it's independent of any party or candidate. This is a weird thing to where there's a big argument on whether or not funding should be equal for all candidates. Okay?
I disagree with that.
Campaigning, so two major types of campaigns. We have labor-intensive campaigns, so this is used mostly in local elections, and congressional races. They use this thing called canvassing, so person-to-person campaigning, going door-to-door and using the telephone. Happens a lot during election season. And then we have media-intensive campaigns, which you see a little bit on the bigger scale, which would be statewide campaigns and national elections. So they use broadcast media to emphasize their issues and personal characteristics. They use radio, TV, televised debates, websites, podcasts, all that kind of stuff, just to get out there as much as they possibly can. And then they use propaganda to sway voters. So this is information used to promote a particular point of view, usually misleading. So hopefully you know what an endorsement is. I mean, name some endorsements of LeBron James.
Nike.
Nike.
Adidas. I know.
Oh my
No.
gosh, you're actually stupid.
Starts with an S, ends with a Prite.
Wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Sprite cranberry.
What about, and then the one that starts with a G ends with an Gatorade? Gatorade?
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
So,
this is why you're not smart.
all of those things are considered endorsements, right? David Dobrik is losing his.
Endorsements.
That's right. So, what is an endorsement in the political world? It is basically having somebody huge in your party say, I back that person. Or a celebrity saying, I back that person. Because that kind of goes a long way. You always want to get endorsed by the former president of that particular party. So, Joe Biden was going to get endorsed by who?
Obama.
Yes, Barack Obama. It just makes sense like that. That's how it works. So public declaration of personal or group support for a candidate. So other elected officials, companies, celebrities. We have this thing called name calling, so that's attaching a negative label to a candidate's opponent. Trump was absolutely amazing at this. Remember,
What was Trump amazing?
name calling. Crooked Hillary. Sleepy Joe.
I still use that.
Low energy Jeb. All of these things.
Stupid name people.
I mean, he was so good at doing that and creating these personas for these people.
They kind of got into some hate though.
I mean, it definitely got Trump hate, but at the same time, what do you think about whenever you think about these people? You think about these names that he called them. So, he's literally using name calling, right?
Smart guy.
Then,
Facts.
there's this thing called glittering generalities, which Obama was super good at. So an appeal to the emotions using vague words. Candidate B will bring us peace and prosperity. If you remember Obama's poster that he had, it used to say, it was like Obama's picture, it was kind of red and blue, and it said hope
Yes, we can.
or change. And what does that mean?
It means he wants to make the nation better.
It's a glittering generality. It's like me saying something that just a blanket statement of like, if you vote for me, I'll make everything better.
So like, it's an open canvas.
Right. But you attach these words of positivity to it, and boom, there it is. Yeah.
Did you see Biden falling down the stairs?
Yes, that was amazing.
Like 4 times, like it's like he couldn't walk.
My dad saw this video on Facebook of Donald Trump hitting a golf ball and it just nailing him in the face.
Bandwagon, so using language that makes voters feel like they should support an issue or candidate just because the majority of citizens do. Polls show our candidate is pulling ahead and we expect to win in a landslide. So join in on the fun. So this is exactly what happened when the Patriots won 1 million Super Bowls in a row. It created a bandwagon fan base.
Facts. I hate the Patriots still.
Same with the Red Sox.
Yankees.
Yeah, it's so weird. Bandwagon fan base. Alabama fans.
Ethan.
Cringe.
If you're a Yankee fan, you just leave.
Then we have this thing called stack cards. So this presents only one side of the issue, often distorts the facts. Candidate C has the best record on the environment, which might not be true, but you just like stack the cards in your favor and you just say, all right, this is what we do here. And then we have just plain folks, which just makes me laugh so hard when I see it,
Ha ha.
because these people are extremely rich. But what do they try to act like?
They're not.
They act like they're an everyday man type of person.
I hate people that.
We just got done working on the line or working in the factory or doing our job. You haven't done a real job in forever.
More like never.
I mean, you don't have callous hands.
Wait, what?
Do you have calloused hands?
Yeah. I'm a
Heck yeah.
baseball coach.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, just plain folks, making voters think that a candidate is just like them. My parents were ordinary, hardworking people, and they taught me those values. Okay. And then scare tactics. Something bad will happen if you don't vote for the right candidate. One of the craziest ads of all time is an ad called Daisy. I'll show it to you later. It's
Joe Biden
crazy.
did that.
But you basically say, okay, do you want World War III? Then don't vote for that other guy. Vote for me.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh, have you seen the all the other presidents like bullying Joe Biden?
Have you seen the
Maybe,
video of
like,
Joe
no,
Biden saying,
like-
if you don't vote for me or Trump, you ain't black?
Like
I've seen that.
like Putin said that he challenged. He was like, oh yeah, I would love to have go against Biden in a debate, but it needed to be live and no delay on it, or something like that. Yeah. He's like making fun of him because he know he won't do anything.
All right, we're gonna take this from the top again. We got to do a